right, welcome everybody. This is Coach Malcolm with Coach's Corner. Normally we would have a halftime podcast episode, but today we're not kind of doing that. We're going to spin it off a little bit. We started this early on. If you guys remember, me and Coach Conrad and a couple more coaches, we had this thing called Coach's Corner. And this is something that we're actually excited to bring back because it allows us to kind of work and network with other coaches who are doing great things in their own spaces and of that magnitude. So today, this is a continuance of our Coach's Corner, which will be presented by the Halftime Podcast. But today, Coach Conrad couldn't join me due to some unforeseen circumstances. So today, I have Coach Walker, Stephen Walker. How are you doing today, Coach?
Man, I'm good. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here. Look forward to the discussion and making it happen. Putting out some good content.
Yes, sir. So tell the people, with your coaching experience, what it is exactly that you are coaching, what sport are you involved in, what team are you working with, and just give people a little bit of information about how you've been rocking with that so far.
Well, I got an AAU club called the Bolingbrook Warriors. I've been coaching these kids since they were in third grade. Now
Okay.
these same kids are in eighth grade.
All right.
So it's been a program that's been ongoing for several years now, right? And so I played AAU myself, so I
Mm-hmm.
fit. It's a really important, I think, segment of basketball today. But I think now what I provide for these kids is structure. They
Right.
need structure,
Right.
and so what I do is, it's all about teaching and development for me. And so these kids started off not knowing how to play basketball. Now some of these kids are really, really good. And we play in Aurora, we play in Romeoville tournaments, and we play sometimes out of town. But they have fun, they learn, they love each other, they developing teamwork skills, learning how to build networks and partnerships,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's a lot that goes into my program other than just basketball that these kids are going to get from and be able to take into the real world. Even if they don't play high school basketball,
Mm-hmm.
college basketball, they'll benefit from being in our program.
Yes.
We look at the whole person, the whole player, not just development in basketball, but development in just life skills and just those aspects. And sometimes they may have issues with school, right? We help them with that. We may provide tutoring sessions.
Right.
We may sometimes, hey, if you need me to, I'll, represent you as far as a parent teacher conference.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is that we need to do and provide for that kid is what we do.
A nice little boys to men situation we got going on over there.
Yeah, yeah, man. Some kids need that they need that support, right?
100%.
They don't get
100%.
it from home. And I just can't see myself just giving them basketball skills and then sending them off on their way. I
Yeah.
want to make sure I take the whole person and tap into everything that makes this kid better in life.
Yes, 100%. I appreciate that. Thank you for letting the people know about that. And that's the Bolingbrook Warriors,
Yeah,
your AAU club that you have. And you say you've been doing this with them since they've been in third grade. So that's 5 years now.
5 years.
Yeah.
We've been rocking, a lot of, ups and downs, a lot of losses,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes. You start out with them early and you kind of figure it out. And I mean,
Yeah,
everybody is not coming out being Derrick Rose. So you
no,
gotta make it work. Got to
I
make it
don't
work.
I don't have Derrick Rose, but I have kids that are committed and that
Yeah.
are dedicated to becoming the best players they can
That
be.
they can be. Yep. 100%.
That's all I can appreciate from these kids. But yeah,
100%.
a lot
All
of
right.
lot lot of Saturday evenings of even my head was down some Saturdays.
Yeah. Of course.
So
Of course. I remember when I first started in AAU with Swarm, it was the same way. Like I remember the first coach I met, he he was a part of like assigning like the teams, and he was
uh,
just like, "I'm gonna pray for you, coach." I was like, "Why?" And he was just like, "You'll see, you'll see in about 2 seconds." And I promise you, when I first got over there, I was like, "Oh man, y'all just tried to give me like the worst thing possible to try to make it seem like, oh, if you want to coach, here you go. Here you go. Find out if you really got the chops for this. If you really want to squabble with this young man. Let's find out if you really want to do it.
yeah,
You know what? Honestly, I think that was the best thing for me though,
yeah,
because it taught me how to coach. Honestly, it taught me how to develop, taught me how to coach, how to have the proper type of patience, and how to like foster the relationships necessary
Yeah.
with young boys who are just trying to figure this game out, right? They in
Right.
their minds, they're still in the dream state. Everybody's going to the NBA when you first catch them at that age. And they still think that they can do, and not saying that they can. I'm not trying to put it like that, but what I'm saying is that's their imagination at large. So you have to remind yourself, like, you don't want to be the guy that comes in and kill dreams. You
Yeah.
want to foster and hope that you can help them reach whatever level they can potentially reach,
Yeah.
but don't come in being like, I don't see it. It ain't about that. It's more so just about you being able to cultivate, find that relationship, nurture, and
Yeah.
develop as best as you can, and figure out what type of
Yeah.
player that they can be and help them become that. And
Yeah.
that's something that I learned early on when I was going through that experience. Because obviously, when I first got there, I was just like, "Yo, what is
Yeah.
going on
Yeah.
here? What is going on here?"
Hey.
But yeah, so thank you for that introduction. Thank you for introducing
Uh,
yourself to the people. Let's go ahead and get right into this show. We got some topics that we want to talk about, good people. Um, and this could potentially, get some heated moments, but I don't think so. I think this will be rather kind of smooth. But we go try to work on. So first off top, let's start with the NFL because today is
uh,
football Sunday, so it would be a disgrace not to start off with some football since it is football Sunday. And honestly, I'm a basketball coach, but my first love was always football. I just so
yeah.
happened to end up going to a high school that didn't have a football team, and
Yeah.
so because of that, not saying that I wouldn't have played basketball, but because of that, basketball became more prominent in my life. But earlier on in my life, football was my main thing. That was the thing that I loved the most. That's like my first love of sport. So let's
Mhm.
start off with the quarterback situation in Cleveland. Let's start with Shedeur Sanders, right? So obviously we don't need to give too much of a background. Everybody is aware of the situation with Shedeur.
Yeah.
Went fifth round when he was projected to go first round. He's Deion Sanders' son, and there
Mhm.
is this feeling in the air that he needs to be taught a lesson or two about just because somebody is your father doesn't mean you have a rites of passage to the
Mhm.
NFL and its kingdom and things of that nature. Is it because he's black? Is it because he's just utilizing the stepping stones of nepotism? Things of that nature. And now you're in Cleveland in a situation where they haven't had a quarterback since maybe ever,
Yeah.
and they've tried multiple ways of doing it. They even hired some or traded for somebody that was in the midst of turmoil and his off-season life in Deshaun Watson, who's been injured pretty much since he got there and got traded for. Joe Flacco obviously had a decent year last year, but this year he has not been able to compound the
Mhm.
results of what happened last season. And now we're here today with Dylan Gabriel,
Yeah.
the third round, I think third or fourth round pick that they drafted
Third round.
third round ahead of Shedeur, which
Mhm.
many people were just confused as to where this kid from Oregon even existed, who even knew about Dylan Gabriel. So now Dylan Gabriel is in the starting position. Shedeur
Mhm.
Sanders is still quarterback 3, taking practice squad reps. He hasn't moved up the depth chart. Joe Flacco is technically still quarterback 2. And the world is trying to figure out how we go from a first round prospect to now being quarterback 3 on a franchise that has been absolutely in the dungeons when it comes down to finding a quarterback. How is it that he has not hit the field? And why is it that it seems like, for whatever reason, he can't do anything right when it comes down to talking? And when he don't talk, he still can't do anything right. So where are we with this Shedeur Sanders saga in your personal opinion?
So, in my opinion, Cleveland, I think years ago, late 80s, late 90s, was the last time they had a serviceable quarterback, and that was Bernie Kosar.
Okay.
He was pretty good, right? That's when they had the dog pound situation
Mm-hmm.
going on. They had the crazy fans. They had the nickname stadium. They had a lot of momentum, and then it just stopped, right? I
Right,
think
right.
ownership changed. But after that, it's been nothing. It's been a lot of misses at the quarterback position for them. With the Sanders situation, I just think it's the NFL and even players, they want to see the quarterback bring a sense of humility, right?
Right.
To the situation and being humble, right? Everybody likes Shedeur. He's a great kid, smiles a lot, good energy, but it's just a humility factor that kind of turns people off about him. And I think even with that, you bring in his father, Dion, that becomes another factor for players where you got your father, he's in the media pumping you
Hmm.
up, giving you all the kudos. We don't want to hear all that. We just want you to play, man. We just want you to come in and lead us
Right.
because the
Right.
QB is the leader of the entire franchise, man.
Hmm.
Believe it or not, it's not the president, it's not the GM, it's not the coach,
It's the
it's not
quarterback.
it's the quarterback.
Yeah.
And I think Shedeur just needs to. I mean, not to say mature. He's a 23-year-old kid, right? He does things that we did at 23. I mean,
Yeah.
what?
And
So
other quarterbacks in the league right now do that. That's young. Like
hey,
you, Jackson Dart has the same type of swagger.
Jackson Dart's
Wears the chains, wears the hats backwards, and does all this. You
they're,
know, they just do young men things,
they're
right?
young men, right? So I'm not gonna even use that against
Right.
him because someone could have done that to me. So we're not doing that. But I just think with him handling press conferences, learning how to just play the long game with situations, right?
Mm,
Okay, I know Rex Ryan told me to shut up and fold my hands and just listen. But you know what? I'm gonna ignore that because I'm playing a long game.
right. 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 Right.
Mean, I don't want to say company man because I think Ryan Clark called it a company man, be a company man. Just just be professional in the sense of answer the questions, get in and get out of interviews.
Right.
Don't give them any sound bites. That's the key. Don't give them any sound bites and you'll be good. As long as we stick to no sound bites, answer the questions, be truthful and honest all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But also always put your teammates in the forefront. Meaning, if I'm the third round quarterback and Dylan Gabriel is now the new quarterback, I say, you know what? I support him.
Right.
I hope
Right.
he does well. I know he's gonna do well because in practice he's really killing it. Say all of those things because now that puts you as a leader, one of the leaders, right?
Right.
And
Right.
people hear that, and then they start to put you in a different frame of mind and be like, okay, this kid really wants everybody to do well, right? He's
Right.
for the team because the misconception that they have about him is that he's all about himself.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. Dion kind of created with the legendary kind of moniker, the legendary Super Bowl party.
Right.
All of that kind of played a part into what people really think of him. But at the end of the day, the kid is a great kid. He can play football. He just needs to learn how to play the long game. That's it.
So while I understand exactly what you're saying, and it's not like I disagree. I think my question is, why is there such an emphasis that they have on trying to make sure that this particular player and this particular athlete and this particular kid needs to show humility? I mean, we have just examples. We've had Johnny Manziel come into the league, nobody cared. We've
Yeah.
had Baker Mayfield, who sometimes swagger gets confused with being too aggressive, and sometimes we don't care. Tom Brady, you can't use him as an example because he's won so many rings that you just
Right.
kind of gotta accept it.
Right.
But later in parts of Tom Brady's career, he started to, peacock a little bit and get out of that Bill Belichick. Like I'm gonna say what I want to say. Peyton
Mhm.
Manning from the jump was always kind of being like, I know who I am and I know how good I am and this is what I do type of thing. So I think when we're asking, when I'm speaking of Shedeur and I hear the word humility and humble a lot, my only concern is why is there a necessary for, or why is there a need to try to humble him or for him to show humility? And then when it comes down to the things outside of football, the legendary and all the other stuff,
Mhm.
why aren't we able to compartmentalize that as just simply being his marketing, right? He's marketing himself. He's creating a brand, which everybody kind of does, but I think it's more so like maybe he's doing it too early on. Maybe people have a problem with saying like, prove something first before you try to brand yourself. Prove something first before you try to create a market outside of football for yourself.
Right.
Do something on the field first, and then we can let you go and do the Campbell soup commercials, and then
Yeah.
we can let you have the night. So I get it to some perspective,
Right.
but I also understand that timing is everything, right? We know this in life, we know this in sports, we know
Mhm.
this in business. Timing is everything, and so when you hot, you know what I'm saying, like the famous Kanye line, like don't leave when you hot. That's how Mace fell off. You know what I'm saying? Like we get it, right? When you got it going, you kind of got to put things in motion. You
There you
kind of
go.
have to establish what it is that you're trying to do. Now, with that being said, why do you think they want him to show the humility when in comparison? And I'm not trying to make it a black or white thing. Obviously, I picked white quarterbacks, and I could have picked some more. Like LaMarcus Russell came in a little charged up. Lamar Jackson, they tried to give him the same type of situation where
Got to make
they
him a
thought,
receiver.
yeah, they tried to make him a receiver. So you know what I'm saying. So I don't want to make it just black and white, but it seems like for this particular kid, and I don't know if it's really more Dion than it is Shedeur, and that's what it's starting to feel like. It doesn't really feel like this is an attack against Shedeur. It feels like this is more so an attack against his father, who
Yeah.
maybe they've always had problems with because the way Dion came into the NFL was pretty much on some, I know I'm going top three. Why is y'all even talking to me? I'm not falling past. You know what I mean? So with that
But
context, is it Shador that they're trying to attack, or is it through the son we get to the father?
no, it's the player because I'll give you a perfect example. You brought up Johnny Manziel and Baker Mayfield.
Right.
High draft picks, right?
Yeah.
Johnny Manziel came in, you know, flamboyant, boisterous,
Yeah.
money sign dances. They humbled him, right? He didn't last he didn't last no more than a year in Cleveland, if I'm correct. They did not like him. The articles were bad about him. The articles talked about his upbringing. The articles talked about how spoiled of a kid he was. He didn't last in Cleveland.
Right.
They humbled him, right? Because of the way he approached the game.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody thought he was serious. They wrote about the drinking, the drugs, the girls. So the media attacked him as well, right? Just because of how he approached the game, not with the humble sense of appreciation. Now
But
I'll
he was
call it
given
appreciation.
a chance to play from the jump though.
He was given a chance to play because of coming from Texas A&M. I mean, I
Right.
think they may have been a game close from the national
And I
championship.
think he was a Heisman winner too. So let me
He,
not downplay his credits that came into the league.
he
It's
was
obviously it
yeah,
obviously exceeds the individual
he,
accolades of Shador.
he played at a big time. He played
Yeah.
a Power Five. He did well, and
Yeah.
so it was assumed that was going to translate
Yeah.
to the NFL, but it could have. But his attitude, and once people
Right.
really got to know him, they shoved him they shoved him aside. They didn't
Yeah.
like. They wrote bad articles about him. They pulled up old dirt on him, and by the time you look up, he's out of the league.
Right.
Baker Mayfield, you didn't have those background issues, right? The drinking, the hanging out, the party. You just had a kid that was really boisterous, right? Really,
Right.
really, he seemed to lack humility, right? Really talking stuff. In college, planting the flag in the middle of
Right.
the
Mm-hmm.
field. So, dancing. He had all the same things Manziel had, but he didn't have the negative background, the personal issues, right?
Right.
So you can kind of accept some of his flamboyant ways or his boisterous ways on the field. But that didn't translate. His play didn't translate quickly enough into the NFL. And so they had to say, hey, you know what? We gonna have to trade you away from Cleveland, right? You're gonna
Mm-hmm.
have to start over, right? Because he was in Cleveland with what receiver? Was it OBJ?
Yeah.
Then he
Yeah.
worked
Yeah. Odell Beckham. Yeah.
and Odell Beckham's roommate from college was also on the other side. He was the second
Yeah.
receiver. Landry,
Mhm.
I think.
Yeah.
Landry, I think it was.
Jarvis Landry.
I think it was. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so he had all these weapons, but he wasn't focused. Let's just
Yeah.
be honest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you get to Carolina. Well, no, you get to LA. He has those 2 to 3 games of just come
Show a
back,
little bit of signs. Yeah.
show a little bit of signs of life, right? So he takes it over to Carolina, does whatever he does, but
And
then
then
he
gets to
ends up
Tampa Bay.
then he gets to Tampa Bay. Now he's on fire, dude. Now he's confident. Now he's seeing the field. Now he's
Mm-hmm.
reading the field. He's still the same player that talks stuff on the field, boisterous on the field, showing the first down signs and talking junk, getting in players' faces. but that's him. But now he's doing it with production to
Yeah.
add to it, right?
Yeah, I was
So
gonna say that productivity, baby. Productivity can kind of negate a lot of the other stuff.
uh,
The NFL has definitely shown that when you can produce, hmm, they can
it's
overlook some things.
everything about life and business. I'll say if you're productive, you can get away with some things.
Yeah,
But also, you have to play the game where I'm not known quite yet, so I have to be humble. That's
yeah,
where it comes in. That
yeah,
I'm not coming in. I haven't produced yet, right? No, doesn't matter if I'm the number one pick, number two pick. I haven't produced enough to come in, uh, you know, being really boisterous on the field, not really putting the time into my playbook. So
right,
now I have to really become a student of the game. That's where some of these quarterbacks are failing. These high picks
yeah,
coming in, they're not students of the game because they've had all this success. So now they feel like things should be given to them, right? Things should
mm-hmm,
be easy. So that's why you hear a lot of comments from like Justin Fields did it too. Remember, he was coming in. He said, "Man, after the first preseason game, oh man, this game's slower than college. This is not as fast as college." Like, what? Are you serious? So then you start to see what happened. That lack of being humble and just understanding you are on the next level and you need to work at this. You start to see his failures because he thought this was just as easy as college, right?
right,
And so that's what you're getting with that's what you got with the Baker Mayfields and the Johnny Manziels. Manziel had a whole nother issue, but Mayfield didn't come in, wasn't ready, didn't prepare, so he
right,
failed. Now he's preparing and now he's excelling.
yeah,
Same
right,
thing with
right, right, right.
Shedeur. Shedeur has to prepare, even though he wasn't a high draft pick. He should have been, but you got to prepare. You got to read your playbook. You got to be on the sideline in that mic, in the quarterback ear, talking with the coaches.
Right.
Just doing things to show that you're invested, that you're involved. Like, hey, coach, what are we running here? Or what should we run here? Just being involved in
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
plan. You don't, you catch them on the sideline just walking around, talking and laughing with players. You should be invested into what the quarterback is doing right now. So you can maybe have some suggestions.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's almost like because maybe he's the younger sibling, and because he's always kind of been catered to, he's struggling with having to be like the middle child of situations, right? Like the middle child always knows kind of how to play their part, be involved, still find a way to find their individualism, but they know that they're like the bridge between it all.
Yep.
He doesn't know how to do that because he grew up as being the one that everybody has always like, "Oh, check on Shedeur, make sure Shedeur is good." Because I think he's the youngest out of the boys. Maybe not the youngest child, but he's the youngest out of the boys.
Out of the
And so
boys.
he's always been the one that everybody has, been able to just kind of make sure he was always good. And he's
Mhm.
finding himself in a situation now where, not saying that they don't care if he's good or not, it's just more so that he has to show them more than they have to show him. And this is
Yep.
probably the first time where in his life that's the case for him, where somebody else is like, no, 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 you got to prove to us why we should give any type of care about you. And that's something that
Yep.
he hasn't. I don't think that's something that he's experienced for the longest of his career. He's been able to be coached by his father.
Yep.
And I feel like in almost every step of his career, he's been able to be coached by his father. He's had
Yep.
his brother next to him, Shiloh. His other brother is, not a football player, but he's, doing filmography and stuff like that. So he's always been what's the word? Like almost bubbled or encapsulated
Been
with the people
sheltered.
around. Yes, in a way, kind of sheltered, right?
Yeah,
And
he's
so
been
maybe
sheltered.
Cleveland is kind of just
Yeah.
maybe they're trying to just throw him out there and be like, let's see how much you can take. Let's really
Yeah.
find out how much you can take. Let's find out how much stress, how much media preparation, how many
Mm-hmm.
questions, how much media fire can you deal with, and let's see
Mm-hmm.
if you break. Because maybe we do think you can be that guy, but
Yep.
being that guy doesn't end with your football talent. Like you were saying earlier on, to bring it full circle, the quarterback is the face of the team. They're the ultimate manager. We go as you go. So if you
Yep.
don't have poise, if you don't know how to say the right things, if you're willing to throw the coach under the table, if you're willing to tell the owner that they need to give more talent and they need to do this, although any of these things can all be true,
Yep.
we can't afford for you to do that because now we become part of a media frenzy and media cycle that nobody here asked for. So, regardless of what is ugly inside the house, we need you to go out there and say everything good on the side. Everything
Yes.
good. And I don't know if there's a trust factor that they
Yes.
have with Shedeur in that position that if things are what they are, because we all know Cleveland is a dumpster fire, but we
It's
don't
true.
know, they
It
don't
is.
know if he can be quiet on that. We don't know if you're gonna go out there and say Stefanski don't know what he's doing. We in middle of the week and the game plan makes no sense. My father would never do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, who
Yep.
knows? The concerns that they have is probably something like that. So I think while I agree, I don't like the humbling aspect of this because it's just it bothers me as a younger black man just to be like,
Yeah.
yeah, you need to be humble. It's like, do I need to be humble or do you feel like you just don't like who I am, so you want me to become a caricature of what you like, of what you enjoy me to be? That part of it kind of bothers me. But while I hear it, I also understand it to some capacity. These are people that didn't have to draft you. They don't have to pay you. This is their team. This is their league. It's just like any other employee. You got an employee handbook for a reason, right? You may not like the way this company does business or the way that they have their procedures
Yep.
and policies, but at the end of the day, you still want them to pay you. So there's a quiet collective bargaining agreement that exists between you and them that says you want us to pay you, then follow what we're asking you to do. We want suits and ties.
Yep.
Guess what? Time for you. If you ain't got it, go hit the Goodwill. Get you some suits and ties. You know what I'm saying? Until you got the money to go get you tailored suits and make it look how you want it to. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You got to play it along. It's
yeah,
all it, you can't look at it. You can't look short term, especially when you're dealing on somebody else's clock. You
yeah,
got to look at the you got to think of this is a long game, right?
yeah,
What's my long game? To follow these policies and procedures, put in my work, give quality product, and then once I get to the point where I'm on the same playing field as the other executives,
yeah,
then now my voice can really make a difference. Right now,
yeah,
when
yeah,
you at the bottom, your voice does nothing.
yeah,
You can't make any change, right?
yeah.
You can't affect anything. You can only go by the playbook, exactly by the playbook when you're at the bottom. And if you navigate outside of that, then that's where when you start to say you're not humble enough. You're not showing the appreciation that you have this chance to
Right,
move up.
right.
And that's where the description of not being humble comes in with Shedeur. You're at the bottom. You're still having these conversations about what you could do, or what another quarterback on another
Right.
team is not doing. You're still not showing a level of humility that we need to see, because when you're at the bottom, it's just what it is. You got to follow the rules, and if you don't, we can go get 1,000 more of you to put in your position that may play the long game and end up where you should have been, and they may not be as good as you.
Talent, yeah, they may not be as talented, may not be as good, but like you said, everything ain't always about talent. Sometimes it's just about compatibility, right? Do we
Yeah,
like this guy? I've heard that many a times.
yeah.
I've heard this many a times. Just not try really quickly. Just being in HR, being an HR professional, being around situations where I'm hiring for the executive suites, hiring guys in positions to be CFOs and stuff like this,
Mhm.
and the common question from the CEO and his partners is just more so like, do you think we'll like this guy? And in my mind, I'm just so flabbergasted because I'm going through the resume. He went to this school, Harvard Business, of law, and he went this,
Yeah,
blah, and they just like, yeah, but Malcolm, do you think we'll like him? Do you think he'll fit with
yeah.
us?
The culture, yeah.
And I'm sitting there just like, but I'm telling you all that, and they like, we kind of don't care. We
Yeah.
kind and that started to be a thing where I was just like, it's bigger than just the skill set. It's bigger than just the talent. I gotta see you every day. I gotta work with you every day. Sometimes I would rather have the less talented guy or the guy with the less accolades, just knowing that we get along and I can work with you.
I'll give you a key phrase that's used in your everyday work life, my everyday work life, and my everyday work life of judging people.
Yeah.
Soft skills. You could have all of the talent on paper, the degree, the experience. What are your soft skills? Are you emotionally what's your emotional intelligence level,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Can you come in and really say, okay, you coming in as a CFO, but we need you to really sit back and really learn what's going on at the moment and then start to take the reins and make a difference. Some people can't do that because those soft skills negate them from coming in somewhere and thinking, I am the CFO, so I can do this and
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing with Shedeur. I am Shedeur Sanders. I've done this, I've done that. So I should be starting. So that negates him from being humble and saying to himself, let me come in, work my tail off, study my playbook, help my teammate, i.e., CFO coming in, working with the other leaders before he starts to make changes,
You're right.
to then make a better product. And then once they build that trust, once they see that I know what the hell I'm
Yeah.
doing, then now I can exert my talent.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what he has to learn.
Yeah.
Those soft skills will allow him to exert his talent once he becomes trusted, once he becomes liked in the building. That's it.
Yep. Yep. Okay. I thought this one was gonna be a little bit touch and go, but this is actually really good. So let's continue to stay on black quarterbacks really quickly. I had a few topics, but some of these we might skip around to. Lamar Jackson is
Yeah,
starting to show me that he can't stay healthy.
yeah. Just keep
And
the
that
ball
is starting
off
to be
my
a little
mind.
bit more consistent than I like. So if you're Baltimore and you've invested two contracts into him, rookie contract, the extension contract, and now technically he's viable for another extension.
Mm-hmm.
With the way that injuries have kind of played the last 3 to 4 seasons for Lamar and the Baltimore Ravens, is this starting to become a problem for you if you are the Baltimore Ravens ownership and executive brass? Is this starting to become a problem?
I would think it is because your best asset is being available, right? As a quarterback, as an athlete, your best asset is being available. And if that starts to dwindle, where you're missing games, you're missing multiple games, uh, that that hurts your value with anything in
Right.
life. If I'm not present and producing because I'm sidelined, that hurts my value contract and also wins and losses, right?
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, Lamar has to stay healthy. Again, Lamar has to he's getting to a stage now where he just has to stay in the pocket longer than what he's been accustomed to. I think a lot of times he's running out the back of the pocket, running up the middle, which is great. He can do that. But as that age starts to creep up and as those injuries start to pile up, he has to learn how to, and not say he can't. He has to become more comfortable with just sitting in that pocket and watching the play develop and hitting his targets. And even if he doesn't have a target, throwing it out of bounds. He's taking unnecessary hits sometimes. He's juking,
Yeah.
spinning.
Yeah.
He doesn't slide. I don't think I've seen Lamar slide 4 or 5 times.
No, honestly, I that's a good point. I
He
think he
doesn't.
more so. I think he's more so prone to just running out of bounds
He'll
before
run.
he kind of slides.
He doesn't slide, and
Yeah.
what he does is he'll juke, 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 and then he'll dip down. But he
Yeah.
still takes. They can still hit you. So I
Yeah.
think he's taking too many unnecessary hits, and I think Lamar is great, man. Lamar's been awesome. He's really created an avenue for black quarterbacks, but we need for him to go win it all. We have to. You have to go win it all, man. You got to win it all. You've gotten this far. You've got two MVPs. You've had a plethora of winning seasons. Man, he's done it all. So we need you to win it all to close the loop on black quarterbacks, and so we can say the world can say, man, this style of play can take you to the promised land and end up with a Super Bowl.
You know what's funny about that? I thought that we kind of closed that chapter with Jalen Hurts, but I think the difference is that there's a clear difference between. This sounds so crazy to say because I hope nobody gets offended by it, but it's like there's a difference between how people perceive Jalen Hurts as a black quarterback and how people perceive Lamar Jackson as a black quarterback.
And I think the difference is Lamar is great. Lamar is he's a transcendent talent.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts is not looked at that. Jalen Hurts he's looked at as a player that persevered, that overcame. Lamar, even though he had that small window of people doubting him,
Yeah.
he changed that quickly, right?
Yeah.
And became this awesome, marketable, great quarterback, right? Jalen will never be perceived in that manner, right? He came in as the best you can be is about a second emergency quarterback,
Yeah. Yeah.
almost a third stringer, right? The
He's like
best,
the black Kirk Cousins.
right? But he changed that by just being diligent, man, but just by being persevering, but also opportunities also played a part for Jalen. He's with a team with a great offensive line, dude.
Yeah.
Great receivers, and he probably has the best running back that I've seen in the last 5-10 years, man.
Facts.
Saquon is awesome. Like, does it all, catches, blocks, runs, no weaknesses in this game.
Yeah.
But that doesn't take away Jalen's ability. He just has a lot to work with, and Lamar is the system.
Yeah.
Jalen plays in
a system. Yeah.
That's it. That is the difference between the two.
Yeah.
And that's why Jalen will never be looked at in the sense of transcendent talent, generational talent. He's a guy that's serviceable. He has talent, but you need other talent around him to make him look good. But he is a winner. He's a great representation at the quarterback position. He plays the game the right way.
Yes,
he's
sir.
a leader. He has all these intangibles that some of those intangibles Lamar doesn't have quite as much as Jalen.
Right.
So there are things within the intangibles that kind of gets Jalen close to Lamar, but just Lamar's talent is just
supersedes it. Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane.
But let's not get it twisted. Jalen is a beast. I would love Jalen. I would love him as my quarterback. The dude he's amazing. Person, player. Give me him any day.
Right. All right. Well, let's stay in the NFL before we pivot over to basketball. Bears. Let's talk a little bit about the Bears. We got to talk about our hometown Bears. And we don't have to be necessarily long on this, but just the simple question is, do we finish this season with a winning record in your opinion? And if you had to put a stamp on what that looks like, is that 9-8 because of 17 games? Is it 9-8? Is it 10-7? Is it 11-6? Where in that range do you think we particularly fall this season?
I think they fall 11-6, and not because I'm just a diehard Bears fan.
Right.
Just looking at this schedule within the next 5 games, man, they got the Commanders, which is the Commanders are facing a lot of injuries right now.
They are.
They got McLaurin out. They got Jaden coming back, but who knows with that knee?
Yeah.
They traded away their best running back at the beginning of the season, which I don't know why they did that. Then Austin Eckler goes down.
Yep.
They're dealing with a lot of different issues that they didn't have to deal with last year. So that team is beatable. So then you go into the Saints game. The Saints are what, 0-6,
They're pretty much a G League football team at this point.
They're G League football team. Their quarterback Rattler is 0-10 within this.
Yeah.
So, and they're thinking about making a quarterback change. Then you got Baltimore, who's reeling, right?
Yeah.
Defense can't stop a nosebleed. Defense, they have no cornerbacks. Kyle,
and I don't know if Lamar will be back by the time we play the Bears. By the time they play us, I don't know if he'll be back.
Detroit put up 40-something points on them, moved the ball up and down the field. A lot of short passes, cross the middle. Those crossing routes killed them against Detroit.
Right.
And that's what Ben is going to do against them. And so then I think we have the Giants at some point soon. The Giants, young quarterback. They just lost Neighbors. So a lot of winnable games within the next 7 games.
Yeah, it's almost like the floodgates opened up for us to just go on a run
The,
and turn this season into
it,
something that could be a miracle season.
it's there. We gotta protect better. Caleb has to keep improving. Let's not get complacent with these few good games and then a good drive. Let's not get complacent.
Yeah,
Let's keep the steady improvement. Their defense is playing
playing
well.
a little bit better.
They're
Yeah,
playing a
I
little bit better. I'll say that.
yeah.
They're playing a little bit better. I
I'm
won't
still
say
concerned
that.
about the defensive line. I don't think our
Yeah.
defensive line plays well against good offensive lines, but if it's a bad offensive line, then we have a chance to take advantage. But when we play top of the line offensive lines, our defensive line looks like a Pop Warner
Yeah, let
defensive
me let me
line.
say that they're playing better, and so they
Yeah.
have to. But again, this stretch of games, we're not playing those big league teams. We're playing teams with bad
Yeah.
offensive
Yeah.
lines,
Yeah.
teams with bad back ends on the defense, where we can take advantage of their cornerback. So we should one, put up a lot of points.
Yeah.
Two, get a lot of turnovers on defense, and that's the recipe for winning games.
Okay, I can't disagree with that because the schedule right now opens up. Now, the back end of our schedule gets tough again. Uh,
The
but
back.
but like you said, if we're able to do what we can do and
Mhm.
handle business within the next 4 to 5 weeks, that puts us in a position where if we can squeeze out a couple more wins on that back end, we in a
Mhm.
solid spot. We in a
In a
solid
solid
spot.
spot. If I say we can go 4-1 on these within these next 5 games,
Yeah,
man, excellent, man. That puts us at 3 losses, and that's 5 games now that we've completed. Now
yeah,
now we're entering that back end.
yeah.
We got the we got the Lions at home.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go to the Vikings. The Vikings are beatable. They're struggling. No
Yeah,
quarterback. So you got a lot of winnable games that within these next like 7 weeks, I'll say,
yeah.
you should end up five and five
Five
and
and two. Yeah, yeah.
5-2
Yeah,
should be your record, and that gets you 4 losses. Now you coming into your back end.
yeah, yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you. All right, let's go ahead and pivot into the NBA. This
Yeah.
is year 23 for LeBron James.
Mhm.
Very fitting. If you're a conspiracy theorist and you like storylines, year 23, Michael Jordan was his biggest idol. Michael Jordan is the ghost that everybody is chasing. Michael Jordan is the ghost that he can't catch. Obviously, at this point, in my personal opinion, I think that's kind of over with. So year 23 for LeBron, just culminating the numbers and putting it all together. Would year 23 for LeBron James be fitting for a quiet retirement party that nobody thought was a retirement party?
Yeah, I think this should be it for them. I mean, they don't really that team. I mean, they have Luca, but other than that, they don't have any real talent. You look at a team like Denver. I just watched Denver's exhibition game last
They look
night.
good.
Man, they look great, and the Lakers. No, it's too much talent in the West. I think LeBron. You could just see it now. You can see the age on him just within physically. You can see the age within his face, and
Mm-hmm.
at some point you just have to hang him up, man. You can't do this. You can't continue to do this. And then Aiden, I watched some of the highlights on Aiden doing one of their exhibitions. He didn't look good. He made
Okay.
like one basket. I think he may have had 1 point.
Okay.
Um, it was against Phoenix. They played Phoenix.
Yeah.
I don't know if Aiden. I think Aiden is out of his prime. You know,
Already?
that those Portland years, those Portland days, and then the first few years in Phoenix, man, he was dominant, man. But then the injuries, just lack of like a lot of these players, lack of focus.
Yeah, I give you that one.
Once you lose your focus and you're in the middle of your career, it's hard to restart yourself.
Well, they always question DeAndre Ayton's motor. That was a reason why people thought he shouldn't have been
Yeah.
the number one pick because people questioned his motor. There was always a question about him, like did
So
he have the proper motor for the NBA?
so now they're depending on a guy who doesn't have a motor, as you said, who lacks. I don't think he has the confidence that he once had.
Yeah.
Just think, and then you have Luca. Luca, the way he gets the ball to the bigs is off lobs, right? Getting into the middle, the big diving down, lob. Aiden is not that athletic anymore. He can't
Mm.
he
Mm.
can't do that. So a lot of those touches that would be good for him, those easy touches, he can't go get those. That's why in Dallas you had those bigs, those young,
Derek
athletic bigs.
Lively and JaVale McGee at one point in time. Then
That's
you would
why
have had Anthony Davis had to trade went a different way.
they
Uh
Aiden doesn't have that type of he's not that wiry for one. He for a big, he's not that athletic like a lively,
yeah.
like a
Or
and
even
like
a Daniel Gafford.
oh Daniel Gafford, right? He's not you can't do that. So you have to feed him off the on the block. Let him post
Yeah. Yeah.
let him get in the middle, hook shot. Let him get in the middle, a quick jump shot. You're not gonna get those looks with Luka on the floor because you going 5-1 pick and roll, and typically that 5-1 pick and roll, Luka gets you to the lane, you're diving,
Yeah.
you getting that lob. That's
Yeah.
not Aiden. Aiden is popping out to the elbow, shooting that jump shot. He can't make that consistently. So
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I think in my opinion, I think LeBron needs to go ahead and just hang it up now. Because I
yeah,
don't want to necessarily see him be one of those players that last so long that we see the wheels fall off. Like Kobe lasted to a point where we saw him just get bad. And that kind of took away from, in my opinion, it kind of took away from the esteem that Kobe had, the air that Kobe had, because
yeah,
we saw it fall, we saw it fell off, we saw it just kind of be like, dang,
yeah,
'07 Kobe wouldn't have did that. 2010 Kobe would have made that. You know what I'm saying? Like we
yeah.
we we watching it in real time, just like, man,
Watching the
that
decline real
2014
time.
Kobe,
Yeah,
that wouldn't have happened like that if that was 2014 Kobe. So I don't want to see that for LeBron. Even though I'm not the biggest LeBron fan, I recognize his greatness and I recognize how much he has, contributed to the game post Kobe, post Michael, and things of that nature. And furthermore, I mean, down the line, I'm gonna have a conversation about who really time period this was. Was it Steph's or was it LeBron? Because I think people kind of not really paying attention to what Steph did during this time period in comparison to what LeBron did during the same time period. But
yeah,
I think for LeBron, going out now still keeps his legacy intact. Nobody's seeing you get hurt too much. Nobody's seeing you miss shots that you normally would have made. You still can pass the ball. You can still do all the amazing things that you did before. You wait a year or two too long to do this, and we might see failures. We might see you not being able to score 20 some points a game and you looking at 16-7, like Karl Malone when he was with the
yep.
Lakers on the back end of his career, but you still trying to be a starter. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for LeBron. I want him to walk away from the game with grace, walk away from the game with people being, still proud of everything that they've seen him do, and
Mhm.
him being able to feel like, I walked away from the game, not the game walking away from me.
Yeah, LeBron carried the torch really well. I just think this era, I'll call it an era of a group of players that really, really held the game down. Curry, Durant, Harden,
Yeah.
uh, a lot of
Russell.
Russell.
Yep.
A lot of these players held they took the game to the next level, which LeBron was the face of it. And he carried the weight of the being the face of the league.
Yeah.
Did well with it.
Wade, Melo.
Melo,
Yeah.
a lot of
Yep.
a lot of those guys really, really, really made the league what it is today.
Yeah.
We'll talk
Yeah.
about the '80s, but today the league is the way it is because of what those players brought to the table. And I think this year will be a good year for him to just go out with a bang, play hard. And I don't think they're gonna win much. They don't have a lot of talent,
Right.
you know,
Right. Right.
and
Right.
just and not leave us with those memories of failure like you talked about, missing shots, missing games because knees just won't work.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is a good time for him to really, give it his last go and then hang him up, man.
Yep. Yep.
He's done well, nothing else to prove. He's one of the greats, top five, top two. And that's you can't ask for much, man. 3, 4 rings. You can't ask for a better career, man.
Yes,
He's
sir.
done well.
All right, let's stay in basketball. Let's pivot a little bit. We'll come back to the NBA, but let's pivot really quickly to the WNBA. Who you got for the WNBA finals? Mercury or the Aces? Who you think is going to win it?
I think that the Aces, man, they just got too much talent.
Okay.
Those ladies can play, man. Sometimes I like to just talk crazy about them, but those ladies can play. Asia can play, man. I've been watching her more and more. She's just solid.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
she's fundamentally
And she
sound.
got great footwork.
She's like
Great
Tim,
footwork.
she's a lady version of Tim Duncan.
Okay, I can see that. I can see
Dude,
that. I can see
everything
that.
she does is
Is fundamental.
fundamental, it's on point, it's coordinated, it makes sense. She
Yeah,
hits her spots. She doesn't take a lot of time to get to her spots. She doesn't have to work too hard because she knows from her footwork.
yeah.
Dude, she's good. She can rebound, she can block. I mean,
Shoot.
she can shoot.
Yeah,
The leader. So she's doing everything. She's everything that you can ask for in a basketball player, male or female. So
yeah.
the Aces will win it. They may sweep. They're just too talented. Then you got Jackie
Really,
Young. Yeah, Jackie Young is tough, man.
she is. And they
Jackie
got a,
Young is.
and they still got what's the point guard? Chelsea Gray.
They got Chelsea Gray.
Yeah,
Jack,
yeah.
man, I watched Chelsea Gray against the Fever. The shot clock was going down to like one. She took about a 35-footer step back.
And made it
You saw
cash. Yeah,
it in cash, man.
all
And
cash.
man, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Those
yeah.
ladies are
I'm
good,
with you.
man.
I'm with you. I think
Those-
I got the Mercury being one of them things where it was like a Cinderella story. They kind of upset the apple cart when they got rid of when they put the Liberty out.
Yeah,
I think we were set. The stage was kind of set for a rubber match between the
uh,
Liberty and the Aces for the WNBA finals.
yeah,
But once the Mercury kind of ended that, I was just like, oh well, this is pretty much the Aces now to lose. And
yeah.
I was right. I mean, obviously the Fever gave them as much as they could handle.
Hmm.
Um, and that just kind of tells me where the Fever is headed. They're headed to be a problem once Caitlin Clark is able to kind of finish out seasons and not have to worry about too many ailments taking her from these seasons like it has been over the couple last two. But they're headed in the right direction. The Indiana Fever is definitely knocking on the door of being a problem. But once I saw the Mercury get rid of the Liberty, I was just kind of like, well, this is definitely the Aces to lose at this point.
The Aces are tough, man.
Yeah.
Play
And
from
they
the bench.
continue to kind of find guys. They continue to find women that want that want to join their team and be a part of that success. And I don't know if it's because it's just because of Asia or if it's more so like the combination of Asia, Becky Hammond, and everything like
That's what
that.
I tell you. It's leadership. Is Asia, man. People want to play for Asia.
They do.
People want to play with her. She gives you confidence as a
Yeah.
teammate because you see her producing at a high level, and then she's patting you on the back, telling
Yeah.
you, "Hey, you got this." Giving
And
you
her work ethic.
confidence
And her
and
work
the
ethic.
work ethic. So
Yeah.
she's a really good example for those ladies to really look at to say, "Hey, I want to get to that point. What do I need to do?" You got to put in that work. And so even Dana, shout out to Dana Evans. She played for the
Yeah.
Sky last year. Man, she's balling right now, man. She's contributing to a championship caliber team.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to her, man. She had some things going on with the Sky last year, but man, she's on the verge of really ending it with a championship with the Aces this year. So
All right. Well, let's pivot back to the NBA really quickly. Let's talk about these Bulls. Maybe we like them, maybe we don't. But because they're the hometown team, just like we talk about the Bears, we give a little love to the Bulls as well. Do we have any expectations for this Bull season?
I have none, man. The only expectation I have for them is to compete. That's it, man. I don't have any winning
Do you think
expect.
they're actually going to compete? That's the question.
I think they are because they're starting to get these new generation players like Matisse, the kid from France. These kids
Noah Essengay.
know they love the game.
Yeah.
So they're starting to get a different type of player. This new generation, they actually love the game.
Yeah.
Like the social media and all the attention, but they love the game.
Basketball. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
love basketball. And I think you'll get competition out of them. You'll get them to compete and work hard. But Kobe will have to carry a large load. Does he want to do that on a team that's basically kind of rebuilding?
Or
And
can
then
he can he actually do it? That's more so my question. That's
can
always
and,
been
and
my concern about Kobe is his inconsistency. Last year I said to myself like had we got the Josh Giddey and Kobe White that we got towards the end of the season, at the beginning of the season, you don't trade Zach LaVine. You know what I'm saying? Like you have a team that is winning games if those two players were producing the same way they were producing at the end of the season, at the beginning of the, because you're gonna get what you get from Vucevic. We're not, that's whatever. But if Josh and Kobe had been producing the way that they did towards the end of the season at the beginning,
Mhm.
that entire season would have looked completely different for the Bulls.
Yeah, they did come on like gangbusters at towards the end of the
Yeah.
season. And I like Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey, can he be a leader though? He can play. Can he
Well,
be?
it's almost like he's becoming the face of the franchise now.
Yeah, he is. He is. But I want to see him lead. I want to see him grab these young players, put them under his wing and like Matisse and Noah and really, and Kobe as well. Kobe, I don't look
Mm-hmm.
at him as a player that's going to lead, but putting Kobe under his wing, keeping him under control, because sometimes Kobe can get in his dribbling the air out the ball moments. But Giddy will have to be my leader. And I think if Giddy can lead, give me 20 and 10 a game and
That's a
compete.
lot. That's a lot to ask from Giddy. The 20 part is a lot to ask. The 10 is not. I think the 10 is reasonable. The
He's
20
got
may
to
not.
he's got to score. They're young, man. He's got to score. He's got to give me at least 20 a game because they're young, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Matisse is not a he's not scoring at a high clip every
Not
game.
yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Vucevic, he'll give you 20 and 10, every other game, but he's not consistent enough.
Well, he's
Giddy
definitely gonna get you 16 and 10. You can count on that every game.
count on that. Giddy
Yeah.
needs to give me 20 and 10 and lead this team, right? We
Yeah.
may not win, no more than 45 games, but at least we will be playing for that play-in spot again. And you never know what happens with that. We may run into the Miami Heat again, which we seem to do every year and
Right.
lose.
Right.
But
Okay. So let me ask you this. Do you think there's a chance that Kobe White does not finish the season with the Bulls, that they trade him at the deadline, around the deadline?
depending on how he's playing, if he's not efficient on the defensive end, or if he's giving up a lot of points, or he's hampering the defensive side, then they'll trade him. But I think if he continues to excel on defense like he did last year, because he got a lot better, if he keeps that motto, if he keeps that energy, and still gives me what he was averaging
24, 24,
25,
24 to 25. Yeah.
you can't trade him.
Yeah.
If you do trade him, you need to be trading him for another 25.
Yeah.
You know,
You'll have to be packaging him to try to get you a superstar at that point.
yeah. If you're not gonna get a superstar for him at this age, he's only in year 7.
Yeah. Or
But
year
he's
8. I
only,
think this might be year 8 for him.
but he's only 23, 24. No, he's
No, I
about
think I think he's 20. I think he's 20, 25 or 26. One of them. But
25.
regardless of the fact, he's still young. He ain't nowhere knocking on 30 yet. So he's
Because I know
still young. He ain't even hit his prime.
I know he came in the league
Yeah,
at a
he came in
young
at
age.
18. Yeah.
So so
18, 19, one of
yeah,
them.
so he's like 25. And
Yeah.
so if he's playing at a high level and serviceable on defense, you can't trade him. The only way you trade him is if you trade me a superstar, maybe Donovan Mitchell.
Mitchell.
If you're giving me him, then maybe, because now Cleveland says we've reached our peak with Donovan.
Okay.
We need to pivot because we have Darius Garland. Then now
Yeah.
that may be a trade where you like, I take Mitchell. Give me 60 here and there.
Yeah.
Like, I'll take that.
I think you trading at that point. I think you kind of trading the same player for the same player in a little bit, but Donovan Mitchell is obviously a lot more explosive and a lot more consistent on the
Yeah,
offensive side of the ball, that you kind of go, well, if we're gonna
that's
get bad defense from both of them, at least take the guy that we know
that we
can
know.
come through in the moments where we need him to come through. That we've seen it happen before.
And we know that this is a guy that the league respects. He's a superstar.
Yeah.
Already validated in concrete. Teams respect him. So night in, night out, teams may play him differently.
Right.
Teams
Right.
may
Right.
double him more than maybe
Right.
Kobe, who's getting that one-on-one matchup a lot and basically excelling, but still not getting that double team. You get a Donovan Mitchell, you scout, you like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
we gotta stay
Yeah.
close. We gotta
Yeah.
stay close. When he gets the ball on the left side, we gotta stay in the triangle. Now you open up that weak side for guys like Vucevic, who's maybe sitting at the three wide open all the
Right.
time.
Right.
So now your offense changes, even though same player, but same thought
But
process,
a
but
different dynamic and a
different.
different response from the defense. That actually is what will create more
Yep.
opportunities for everybody else because you have to play Donovan different and you have to scheme a little bit different than you do for Kobe.
And it's all psychological.
Yeah.
These are the two. They are both the same player,
Yeah.
but one is viewed in a
A little bit
different,
more elite.
little bit
And that
more.
and that make and that definitely makes I agree with you. That makes a
Yeah.
difference. All right. We wouldn't be coaches if we don't finish up talking about something that's kind of near and dear to me, but it's more so about what the importance of fostering relationships with your players as coaches. So when you're trying to win, when you're trying to create a culture, how important is it for you to be able to have one-on-one type of relationships with each one of your players when it comes down to creating that culture, creating a winning culture, getting guys to buy in? How important is it to have those one-on-one relationships, or is it not important at all? Is it really just more so just creating one culture that everybody has to follow and just making sure like if guys don't fall in line, leave them to the side? Or do you take the time out to be like, okay, there's certain guys that I can talk to like this. There's certain guys that I have to be a little bit more passive with or a little bit more calm. There's certain guys that I don't have to say nothing to. I can just be like, hey, yo, you know. And that's all it takes. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know what you're supposed to be doing. Like, so when it comes down to that, how important do you take fostering those relationships, or how serious do you take fostering those relationships, whether one on one, or do you even do the one on one type of relationships with every player? How do you go about it?
Uh, those relationships are important. Before you put the ball on the ground or in the hoop, you have to develop those relationships. And so one-on-one collaborating with your players, that those one-on-one talk meetings, you say with my youngsters, right? Before practice, I may talk to one that may be doing something, maybe doing something I can see he can improve on. So developing that one-on-one relationship it brings an understanding of what this player needs,
Mm-hmm.
and also gives them the opportunity to tell you what they need, and
Right.
tell you how they need to be coached without them actually telling you how they need to be coached. That's how you learn to coach your players differently. You
Mm-hmm.
can't coach your players differently if you don't spend the time with them one on one, right? You can't build a culture if you don't take the time to learn your players, to know what kind of environment they need to excel in,
Right.
right? The environment doesn't have to be this one niche, this niche kind of environment that everybody has to fit into.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't always have to be culture, where it's this one thing where the culture is about, and everybody has to convert to this. You have to build those relationships to know player A, who loves a lot of affirmation. You put affirmation into your culture, right? Player B may not need affirmation. Player B may need to sometimes be left alone to think through things to think through things.
Mm-hmm.
Now you put micromanagement, not micro, but macro, the macro element into your environment, where you kind of like
Kind of hands off with that player.
your hands off with that player, right? Then you may have a player that's just all over the place, not ever listening. So now you have to have structure, right?
Yeah.
So you got an
Yeah.
environment that's structured. You have an environment that's collaborative. You have an environment that's supportive. So all of those ingredients that each player needs create this culture, and you only learn that from
Trial and
developing
error.
those. Huh?
I would say trial and error. You learn it
Yeah,
from trial and error.
trial and error, but you only develop that culture through just learning those players one on one.
Yeah.
I don't know that this player may have he may have a sense of analyzing everything. Everything he does is analytical. He's overthinking. A lot of
Yeah.
players overthink. How do you make the game easier for him?
Mm-hmm.
What you do is say, "Hey, this is what you're good at right now. You gotta keep him in a box almost. This is what you're good at right now. Let's stay in this lane." And then now you start to bring a build on that with that player,
Yeah.
because you have as smart as a whip, but he just analyzes everything. He
Mm-hmm.
understands the game, and everything is at it like, dude, just play with instincts. And so you have to kind of harness that by saying, This is what you need to do.
Right.
Even
Right.
though you may not think that player needs structure, that player needs structure because he's just everywhere. You know he's one of your brightest, intelligent players who can tell, hey, coach, let's run this, let's do this, hey, let's focus on this part of the game right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's focus because
Mm-hmm.
that player is one of the players that gets frustrated when he don't see success all the time.
Yep.
So you only get these things and understand these things by building those relationships with the players. But then also, what's most important, if the parents are involved, it's collaborating with them because they may be able to tell you things about your player that you may not see that then helps you provide them with that ingredient that goes into the
Yeah.
culture that you're building, and it helps them develop and progress to a new stage of being an athlete, being a person, whatever it is, whatever it may be. But you have to develop those relationships with the player one on one. But then also, if the parents are involved, you have to develop the
Develop a
relationship
relationship with
with them
them. Yeah.
because then they tell you things and give you pointers about their kid because they know them better about what they may need. And you have to add all those things and mix them all up.
Yeah.
It becomes your culture for this team.
Yeah. For anybody that's trying to be a coach, understand like it's much bigger than just basketball or whatever sport that you're
Yeah,
trying to coach in. Like it's much bigger than you just teaching that game.
yeah,
This is a lot of psychology, a lot of mentoring, a
yeah,
lot of you being able to have real tough conversations,
yeah,
learning how to read your players and understand, okay, can today be a light
yeah.
practice? Do I need to be a little light on the guys today? Because maybe we had a tough loss. Maybe we,
Mm-hmm.
maybe they've actually earned the opportunity for today to kind of be relaxed and they can
Mm-hmm.
just scrimmage and get up and down a little bit. It's a lot of things that go into it, the nuances of it. People think like you just come out there with your clipboard and game plan and you just
No.
hammer it in on what we're gonna do on this side of the ball and this is much more than that. It ain't just that cut and dry. Coaching is very nuanced. It has a lot of layers to it. There's a lot of emotions that go around into it
Yep.
because like mentioning you got players who think they stars. You got players who egos you can't stand, and you like, yo, you have done nothing for you to feel like you that type of that dude like that, bro. You haven't done much of anything. Like I don't even know if you dropped 30 points yet, and you think you the man like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta have conversations. And then you got players who got anxiety, players who the first mistake that they make they're down on themselves
Got
and
to
they can't
manage
get
all
out
of
of
them.
it. And you gotta manage all that, and you gotta be able
Absolutely.
to get every last one of those guys to,
Mhm.
kind of get out of their funk or really the reality is get out your own way so you can really find out how great you can be. And that's really like my goal as a coach is a lot of times just trying to empower and get guys to understand like you have to find a way to get out your own way, just get out your own way, figure out what it takes for you to just say I'm free to go out there and just play, because at the end of the day I've been in environments in myself, and this is what I've taken into coaching myself. I've been in environments where I've been a player and I've had coaches where every little mistake you make you on the bench, you on the
Yeah.
bench,
Man.
you on the bench. You make one mistake, you on the bench. And it's like, dog, you think I'm gonna be out here playing perfect? Like, yeah, I'm gonna make a mistake. I'm gonna have a mental lapse. Somebody gonna drop a pass. You know what I'm saying? Somebody gonna do we all gonna do something. But
Yeah.
then you have to and you deal with that. And sometimes that demoralizes young players. Like, I can't make a mistake. I gotta do everything right. So I gotta know where I'm supposed to cut. I gotta know where I'm supposed to, just things like that. So I just try to make sure I let my guys know, go out there, play free, react to the things that you seeing, take what's available to you, take advantage of what's available to you. But the one thing that I do harp on is the only really thing that gets me upset is if you not committing to giving your best. If I see
Yeah.
you out there not really putting forth, your best effort, your best energy, and trying hard, then that's really my only biggest pet peeve as a coach. Because you can't go out there and not give me effort, and then also compound that with just making dumb mistakes. Like
Yeah.
I'll let you get away with the mistakes, but if you're not giving me no effort and you making mistakes, oh yeah, come sit next to me, grab this clipboard,
Yeah.
be a statistician today.
The best coaches excel at the things that have nothing to do with basketball. Those
Yeah.
are the best
Or
coaches.
football or whatever the sport is.
Whatever it is,
Yeah.
the best coaches excel at the things that are outside of the actual game, but then could impact the actual what's inside the game. So you have to understand the player, like I talked about earlier, the whole person, understanding that and tap into the whole person, and not just thinking, okay, this kid is a great shooter, I need him. You got to go beyond that, dude. If
Yeah.
you really want to make an impact on your players, you got to go beyond that, and that takes effort. That takes empathy. You have to
Yes.
be as a lot of
Yes.
coaches aren't empathetic at all. But the best coaches and the most successful are empathetic to their players in the sense of, I know I can't be this way with you because maybe you're dealing with this at the moment.
Right, right,
So
right,
I
right.
need to restructure my approach to certain things with this player. I need to restructure my approach at this moment with this. You
Right.
have to be empathetic and be able to pivot as a coach. A lot of coaches are so rigid and
Yes.
so
Yes.
structured that they lose sight that you as the leader, any leader, sometimes have to pivot
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
change your philosophy based upon what the
What?
environment
Yep.
calls.
And based upon what the players that you have, right?
Yeah,
Some things that you feel like you normally or customarily will want to do or implement, you may not have the players that can actually execute. So now you have to figure out, okay, well,
yep.
based upon the skill set I do have, what is it exactly that these players can execute at a high level?
The
And
greatest
let's hone in on that. Let's harness that.
the greatest coaches know how to pivot. You look at Bill Belichick, you look at Phil Jackson, and that entire staff knew how to pivot.
Yeah.
They knew they didn't have the most athletic Bulls teams, but Tex Winter created an entire system called the triangle where it's all about body movement. It
Yes.
wasn't about, this one player, Michael, being able to score 40 or 50 every game. Everybody's going to be in scoring position on each and every offensive play.
Yeah.
So even though Michael is the focal point, that's okay, because now he may bring in this triangle, he may bring two to his side, and now you got a player cutting off that triangle that's wide open, that's
Yep.
cutting off that double team.
Yep.
So he had that offense was an offense that put every single position in scoring position at some point. Triangle on this side, then you reverse it,
Triangle
triangle
on
on
that
this side.
side. Yep.
And so it was the perfect offense for being able to understand and pivot to what you have at your disposal as a
Yeah.
court. Phil was the best at doing that. That entire offense is what coaches, not that you have to run it, should look at the why.
Or just study it. Yeah.
So
Just
just
study it.
study why was this offense created? Because he had to pivot. Michael
Yeah.
was just beyond everybody. So you just couldn't say, hey, go score 50 like Doug Collins did.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
Michael, just get
Just
a
give
ball.
Mike the ball and get out his way. That was Doug
That was
Collins'
his favorite
offense.
saying.
Yeah.
But you can't do that. You're
Yeah.
gonna wear Michael out.
Yeah.
So
And if you Michael, yeah, it sounds good. It feels good because it feeds your ego. It makes you feel like
yeah,
yeah, like you said, give me the ball, get out the way. And if you're an ego filled player, yeah, that does something for you. That strokes you a little bit, and you got yeah. You heard coach. But the reality is, you can't win at a high level like that because if you play against teams that know how to play good team defense, which is what Mike was going up against a lot of the times, you
yeah,
fail. You're gonna fail because these teams just know how to. Okay, well, if nobody else is a threat, we're just gonna load up
mhm.
on you. You try to get to the basket, we load up. You try to
And
be in the corner, we load up. We got three guys, three eyes on you. One person guarding you, other person in help, and another person at the basket to make sure you can't get here and finish. So what you gonna do? All right, pull that shot. You make it. You make it. It's a tough game for you, bro. We gonna find out if you can make 60 jumpers all game. Every game we gonna find out, and over the course of a series, we trust and believe that you ain't gonna make all these jump shots all game, and
yeah,
that's why that's what will happen.
and that's what I tell players. If you don't want to do it the right way, there's always somebody waiting in the wings to take your spot. And that Doug Collins and Phil Jackson situation is always the perfect. It epitomizes somebody waiting in the wings to take your spot and do it the right way.
Yeah,
That's what he did. Phil took his spot, Doug Collins' spot, and did it the right way. And he made a pivot. He made a strategic pivot. You can use that phrase in business life, whatever. The
Yeah.
strategic pivot was creating an offense that allowed the full team to be in scoring position and be threats. Now Michael doesn't have to work so hard, and now Michael can become the one of the best defenders in the league
And
because
become
he's
one of the
not so
best players
tired.
we've ever seen play.
Yep.
Yep. All right, all right. This has been another episode of Coach's Corner. I just want to appreciate and thank you, Coach Walker, for coming in today and joining me on the Zoom call, giving a little conversation about sports and other topics to the people out here. Again, let people know about your AAU club and where they can find any information about that or anything like that.
Well, with Bolingbrook Warriors, you can contact me at 630-901-7473. We don't have a website as of
That's
yet
fine.
because it's all connected to my current business,
That's fine.
So, but yeah, you can always contact me 630-901-7473. Parents, reach out to me. We're always looking for kids, looking to grow our programs because, as I stated earlier, my kids are about to transition to the
To high
next level,
school.
to high school, and so that means I'm gonna have to create a high school team with them, and then now but also I want to keep my middle school
Yeah,
team,
absolutely.
elementary school team. I want to keep the smaller level going. So I need parents to, reach out to me if you got kids that want to learn the game, develop, really be a part of something that's really about growing the whole person, meaning the athlete and the person that's inside of these kids. Reach out to me. We could talk and converse and really see if we can create a partnership. And build your kid up and get them to become the best basketball players they can become. So.
100%. 100%. All right. Again, another episode of Coach's Corner. Thank you for coming through, Mr. Walker. Hopefully you enjoy your day for the rest of the day. And there's no Bears game today, but it's still football, baby.
Still football, baby. We're gonna we
Still
gonna
football.
watch we're gonna watch these games and see what happens. It's always some thrillers going on, so hopefully we get a few of those this week.
Well, today started off with Minnesota and Cleveland. The first thing I saw was that Dylan Gabriel threw his first touchdown, so it don't look good for Shedeur.
Well, Shedeur may be on that. Well, he already on the practice squad. He may find himself out of a job if he keep on
Man,
playing.
man. All right, Coach. I'll holler at you. Peace.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Yep.